What's up, Moxie? HomeWOD day number 82. We have two pieces going down today, both of which are going to be focused on some upper body pressing. Our conditioning for the day is called Wasp Nest. It's every 2 minutes for 7 sets, 20 dumbbell snatches, and 15 push-ups. Anytime that you have left over in those 2 minutes, you get to rest. And then our second piece for the day, once we finish up with Wasp Nest, is some gymnastics conditioning work or continuing our handstand push-up progression. The way it's going to work, we have 4 sets of 1 set of strict handstand push-ups right into a 20-meter overhead carry. That's going to be with a dumbbell. We're going to do 20 meters on each arm. And we're going to finish with a 30-second wall-facing handstand hold each round with a little bit of rest built in between each round. Now, let's go ahead and start by talking about Wasp Nest for a minute today. Now, this workout, we've done some similar things before where we've got this every 2-minute timer, but generally when we've done that, this has been focused on maintaining a consistent pace throughout that entire 14 minutes. That is not the intent today. This is our interval piece of the week, which means that we're really trying to get done within these intervals as quickly as possible. In an ideal world, we'd be getting done in under 90 seconds each round. That said, the push-ups today are really going to be the primary challenge. We should find a weight for these dumbbell snatches. We've done a lot of them, so we should know what we can do to keep these 20 reps unbroken across all 7 sets. 15 push-ups though, that's a different story altogether. There are 2 different strategies that I think we can approach this with. One is, if we're really confident in our push-ups, we can start with big sets, maybe all 15 unbroken, and try to hang on to that the whole time. And in particular, if we're confident in our push-ups, then we want to push the pace on this for the duration of the workout. Now, if we're not confident in our push-ups, we know that this is going to become an issue over the course of the 105 total reps, then we should probably consider breaking these push-ups up early and frequently. That might mean doing sets of 3 to 5 reps. That's just something where we know that we can hit that every single time with a set amount of rest, hopefully no more than 5 to 10 seconds, depending on how big your sets are. Now, if we can't complete the 20 and 15 within the 2 minutes, then we need to consider dropping the reps on both these movements. My recommendation would be going to 16 dumbbell snatches and 10 push-ups each round if you know that completion within the 2 minutes is going to be an issue. Now, one other thing to note here is that with these high volume push-ups, we want to make sure that we're not letting the elbows flare out as we're pressing up, because that's just going to put our shoulder in a slightly worse position, and we might end up certainly with maybe some sore pecs the next day, and our shoulders might even be twinging a little bit just because of this volume. Instead, what we want to make sure that we're doing is keeping our elbows pinched in by our sides throughout the entire movement. But as we get fatigued, that is going to be an issue. So 3 things that we can consider doing to help improve that. Number 1 is just taking smaller sets where we're not going to be quite getting to this failure point where I have to let my elbows flare out. So maybe if we're doing sets of 5, drop down to sets of 3 as we get more and more fatigued. Another thing that we can think about is aggressively pushing with our triceps once we get past about this 90-degree angle pressing off the ground. If we can activate our triceps a little bit more, almost like we're trying to push ourselves off the ground a little bit, that can just help us finish those reps more aggressively and not rely quite so much on our pecs. And then lastly, and obviously just like we mentioned before, if we're really having issues with this, consider dropping those reps down just so we can keep the quality of our movements high. That's Wasp Nest for you guys. Now the other piece today, gymnastics conditioning. We've been hitting these sets of strict handstand push-ups, and the same rule is going to go this week. If we've done this in the past, we know kind of how many reps we can hit in a set. Let's try to start building that up a little bit. Probably only going to be about 1 rep each set, but we're trying to make some consistent improvements in that upward direction. Now, today's a little bit different. We're not going directly from the handstand push-up to a handstand hold. Instead, we have this intermediate movement with the overhead carry, where we're just trying to improve our overhead positioning a little bit. So once we've done our 1 set of strict handstand push-ups, we're going to grab that dumbbell, taking it up to that overhead position. We're going to walk 20 meters with each arm. Now, one thing I do want you to be thinking about on this overhead carry is try to bring your bicep to your ear. It's really easy sometimes for us whenever we're doing normal movements to end up a little bit forward of our head with our hand. We obviously can't do that with the dumbbell, but we can let it flare out to the side. So let's make sure that we're really stacking that dumbbell over our shoulder. And whenever we do that, especially with our thumb back, it's going to bring our bicep right next to our ear. And if we're having some issues with that, just try to bring that bicep closer, like it's almost about to touch your ear. And that's gonna help improve our shoulder position and gonna give us a nice range of motion benefit as well. Now, the other movement we have today is a wall-facing handstand hold. So that means we're gonna wall walk into the hold rather than kicking into it like we would for our handstand push-ups, excuse me. Now, for this handstand hold, the main thing that we're looking for is maintaining a hollow body here. So the only thing that should be in contact with the wall is our feet, unless we're gonna get so close to the wall that we can actually touch our nose to it. Now, if we touch our nose to the wall, our toes obviously should be in contact as well, but we don't want anything in the middle to be in contact with the wall. So let's be thinking about today, regardless of how close we are, like we're trying to pull our stomachs and our legs away from the wall. Just like we're holding a hollow body position on the ground, except now we're changing that orientation. But if we can keep those abs on, this is going to dramatically improve our overhead strength, not only in handstands, but also with a barbell, with dumbbells, with anything else that we might be doing that's overhead. So yeah, guys, get after it today. We've got a lot of shoulders coming up, so make sure you warm those up well. If you need to do some extra maybe mobility work, cooling down for this, make sure you hit that. But log those results on HomeWOD, guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow.